Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series 99 Rise of the Beast Voyager class Battletrap. Now before we take a look at the packaging, I did want to let you know that this video is actually very special because this is my 800 subscriber special. So I will be shouting out 2 random subscribers of mine at the end of this video. If you want a chance at getting a shout out, make sure you subscribe and watch till the end of the video. Also, thank you for so much for all of the support recently. It means a lot. So let's now take a look at the packaging. So of course up front we have Transformers on the side, a really cool artwork shot of Battletrap with his mace. We have Studio Series 99, and there's a really cool Terracon symbol there with Battletrap and open window displaying the figure. In the packaging, we do have the Transformers Rise of the Beast logo. There's another one on the top of the box as well. If we do turn to the side, there's a close-up of Battletrap's head or face looking very menacing and cool. We have a 99 Studio Series on the side and Voyager class in several different languages. On the back, he transforms in 30 steps. There is the attack at the museum, which is the included backdrop, which I'll show in this review. There's 2 product shots, one of Battletrap in his robot and truck mode, and on the final side another really cool piece of artwork of Battletrap with his mace and an Autobot symbol. And that is pretty much it for the packaging, so let's now get into the review. Before we get into the figure, I actually wanted to quickly show the included backdrop, which is the attack at the museum. So with these Studio Series figures for Rise of the Beast, it's actually kind of a different situation or scenario. So with the past Studio Series figures for, Revenge of the Fallen, the Transformers, the first movie, Dark of the Moon, and so on, we've actually known with all the backdrops, what scene it was, what movie it came from, and everything that happens in that scene. But with these Rise of the Beast figures, we haven't seen the movie yet. So this could be a very important scene in the movie or a very minuscule scene. So it's kind of a different situation with these figures. So I just want to quickly cover the details. Of course, we have the entire kind of museum rubble here with some pillars, really cool rubble scattered everywhere. We actually do have a flipped over car there with some fire in the grass and some plants kind of everywhere, looking very, very cool. And if you do turn to the bottom section there, we have Rise of the Beast, and this is where, of course, you will place the figure if you want to display it on this backdrop, which is a pretty nice detail there. And for one last thing, before getting to the figure, I wanted to quickly show the instructions, and let me know in the comment section down below if I should show the instructions more. I typically don't, and if you want me to, I would be glad to. So of course you have the Transformers Rise of the Beast logo there, a really cool artwork shot of Battletrap in his robot mode. We have 99 Studio Series, and that is pretty much it for the instructions and the included backdrop. Let's now get into the figure. Here we have Battletrap in his robot mode. Let's start off by taking a look at the details, starting at the very top with a head sculpt, really nice gunmetal gray for the entire helmet section with some really cool orange kind of spikes sticking out of the forehead, and then there's some red for the visor and some more orange for the side sections of the face. It would have been nice if there was some light piping, but unfortunately there is not. I actually really do like the chest. There's quite a bit going on here. So there's these 2 really cool canisters done in this silver and black, and I do like how you can see through this panel. There's the details from the truck mode. We actually have the headlights done in silver. We have the hood on the top mostly done in orange. You can actually see the front wheels on the side of the chest and stomach region mostly done in black. And this entire panel here is actually supposed to resemble the front grille of the truck, but it's actually a faux piece, which is pretty cool. So this is not used at all in the other mode, but I really do like all these spikes sticking out, mostly done in that gunmetal gray. And there's actually kind of a dirt grime effect going on for this entire section here, which looks very cool in my opinion. Moving on to the shoulder and forearm, mostly done in that kind of darker gray with some really cool spikes sticking out at the shoulder and forearm. And the sculpt of the hand actually looks very good in my opinion. Moving to the lower portion of the figure, I actually really do like all this gray, and there's these really cool kind of piston canister sections here, and we have kind of some knee pads or armor pieces done in that gray as well, and some silver for the lower portion of the leg, and the feet are mostly done in that dark gray color. We can actually see the back wheels are stored inside there, which overall looks very cool in my opinion. And turning to the back of the figure, overall pretty well stored and really not that much hollow gaps or anything. There is a bit of kibble on the back of the arm, so this is actually the entire crane section, split into 2. There's half here and half on the other arm, and you can actually kind of display it however you wish. So by the instructions, I've never really seen a set way how you can display them, so it's really up to your own personal preference. I have them stored like this, but there's actually several hinges in here, mostly due to transformation. So if you want this fully unraveled and you can use this as a weapon for the figure, you can. It's not official by Hasbro, but it's an option. So kind of some customization with the kibble on the back of the arms, but other than that, overall pretty well compact. Of course, we actually have the entire top of the truck here, and it's pretty well stored. And that is pretty much it for details. Overall looking very menacing, and I actually do quite like this figure. So now for accessories, he does come with his really cool mace kind of ball spike accessory, which overall looks very nice. I actually really do like how there's the detailing of a chain, kind of looking like he got some pieces of like scrap metal and chained it together to form this weapon. There's a ton of spikes, and if you're wondering, is this in mold? Is it any way similar to Legacy Bulkhead? No, the mold of this Wrecking Ball is completely different from that figure, so it's not a reuse. I do have to say though, if you watch the packaging segment of this video, on the packaging, he actually has the entire Wrecking Ball kind of attached to a chain, so he's like swinging around, which looks super cool. So it would have been nice if they could have done what they did with the packaging actually with a toy. I think that would have been pretty cool. Maybe we'll get another version of this, because I do know they're making Rise of the Beast figures in Studio Series, and there's a separate whole line for Rise of the Beast, so maybe they'll make this figure again and they'll do it with that. Who knows? But how this is implemented is actually pretty similar to the Legacy version, so you just kind of open this up, and there is a peg here. You can actually store it in either hand, but there is actually another way you can store this, which is kind of finicky, so I'm actually going to turn to the back. So this is according to the instructions, so there is this whole tab here, and there is a slot right there, and it's supposed to store into place, and like I said, it's finicky, so sometimes it stays, sometimes it doesn't. It's pretty finicky, so just wanted to show you that it is an option. I've gotten it to work a few times, but usually I do just store it in the hand, which is what I'm going to show you right now. So again, you can put it in either hand, it does not matter, so you just plug the post into his hand just like that, and then you just close the bottom half around it, and you can seal the hand, which looks super cool. Again, you can do it on either hand. That looks really nice. I do have a bit of a problem though. Unfortunately, typically I can never really get it fully closed. There's usually a bit of a crevice or crack there, so a bit unfortunate there, but other than that, that looks super cool. I do have to say though, in the trailer, I distinctly remember Battletrap, he has a blaster. I'm pretty sure in that final scene where there's like a whole volcano, the huge battle with the Autobots, the Terracons, the Maximals, I'm pretty sure he has a blaster, like a gun. So I'm wondering, again, will there be another version of this figure or character that comes with a blaster and comes with that chain? Who knows? Maybe we'll have to wait and see. But now for articulation, the head can look up and down, side to side. The arm can move out and in, forward and back. Be aware there is some kibble on the back of the arm, so it does get in the way a bit. Of course, there is a elbow bend and a bicep swivel. You can move these pads out of the way if you want to, just have a more of a dynamic look or pose. Unfortunately, no wrist rotation, which I have to say just ahead of time before I've even shown you transformation, there is no part that actually affects the hand whatsoever, so I really think there probably could have been a wrist rotation. As for, of course, the waist, there is a full functioning waist rotation. It is slightly hindered due to this entire backpack. I do have to say there is a bit of a tolerance problem on my copy of this figure. Hopefully this is just my copy, but I'll probably mention this later during transformation, but unfortunately in my copy of the figure, whenever I'm using the waist, especially during transformation, the entire leg section will just pop off. It's just kind of loose. It's weird because rotating it and putting in poses is not a problem, but whenever I transform it, it does have a tendency for this entire section just to slide out, which is a bit weird. Hopefully that's just my copy type of thing, but you can have the legs kick forward and back. Again, there is a bit of kibble back there, so it does slightly hinder it. It can kick out. There is a swivel. There is a pretty good knee bend. And there is an ankle pivot, of course, in and slightly out, which is pretty good. And that is it for articulation and accessories and details. So let's now get down to some comparisons. So now for some comparisons, here we have Battletrap with the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Bumblebee. Looking very cool next to each other. I actually just got him a few days ago, so his review should be on the channel very, very soon. As you can see, size-wise, Battletrap is a pretty big figure, and they do look quite cool next to each other. And moving on to another comparison. Here he is with Air Razor, another figure I just recently got, and the review should be up on the channel very soon. Looking very cool next to each other. And now for one final comparison, of course, we have to compare him to the other Voyager from the Rise of the Beast wave. Here he is with Cheetor. And size-wise, I actually think Cheetor might be bigger. Of course, taking the spears out of account, but just from head to head, I think Cheetor might actually be taller, which is pretty surprising, but they do look pretty cool next to each other. And I'm actually really looking forward to their Terracons such as Nightbird and Scourge. Hopefully we can get those soon. And that is pretty much it for comparison. So let's now get down to transformation into his truck mode. Now for transformation into the truck mode, what you're going to do is untap the head from the main body just like that. So there is a tab right there and a slot underneath the head. Then you can actually disconnect the entire chest piece from the main body as well. There is 2 tabs here and 2 slots just like that. You can actually fold up the head as well. So there is a tab on this entire black panel and there is a slot underneath the head. Just tab that in place just like that. Then what you can do is collapse these entire spike sections behind the shoulder. Then what you can do is flip out this entire hook section right here just like that. Do the same thing on the other side, so just rotate those out, and then you can get this entire hook piece, fold that out as well just like that. Same thing on the other arm, just fold that out just like that. And then you can disconnect the entire shoulder from the main body. So there is a tab here and a slot right inside there, just like that. You can actually go to the back of the figure and you can get these 2 sections here, rotate these up, rotate them out like that, and then down. This will actually form the light bar for the truck mode. So just rotate these down and tab them together. Then what you can do is kind of push the arms out of the way for now. You can actually untab the entire truck piece from the main body. There's 2 tabs here and slots on this piece. You can rotate this entire assembly around and just have that face up just like that. You can then get these 2 truck portions, rotate these up just like that, and there we go. And then what you can do is actually fold out this entire grill section here and just kind of move this as far forward as possible just to get some added clearance. Then what you can do is actually go to the arms. You can rotate the entire shoulder around, and this huge spike here is actually going to go into that slot right there, and it might come undone, so you will probably have to reposition it when you're ever doing the rest of the arm transformation. So just rotate it around, make sure that spike stays in there. Sometimes it will come untabbed, so you might have to refix that in a little bit, but there we go. Then what you can do is actually go to the legs. This is actually part of this figure that I'm not a big fan of because there's quite a few tolerance issues, especially where the transformation is concerned. So this could be a one copy type of thing. So whenever I do transformation, especially transformation, the waist or the legs just sometimes untab. They literally just completely disconnect and pop off. So I do apologize if that happens. There's a few other areas where tolerances are pretty bad that I'll actually show you in just a second. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but what you're going to want to do is bring these panels up. There is a tab and slot, just tab that into place. Same thing on the other side. And then what you can do is rotate the waist around just like that. Make sure it stays in, doesn't untab. Then what you can do is collapse the foot down, bring these panels out just like that. And then how these were tabbed into places, there is a slot and tab just like that. And then what you can do is actually bring the arm in using that hinge just like that. Bring both arms in just like that. And then what you can do is just kind of position them like that. Then we can actually collapse this entire truck portion right here. So before we actually do that, make sure you collapse this entire chest piece like that. Then you can collapse this, and these tabs are supposed to tab into a slot underneath there. And unfortunately, my copy, they really don't stay. You'll see in just a second. So just collapse the hood like that. Make sure everything is nice and flat and tab into place. And these are supposed to tab in, but as you can see, they kind of just push out quite a bit. So that's a bit unfortunate. And the other side as well, it kind of stays in, but there's typically a little bit of a crack or crevice there. And now what you're going to do is just kind of position these little crane pieces up for now. You can then fold the leg up to form the side of the truck like that. Do the same thing on the other side. Just fold it up just like that. There we go. And then you can tab the back. There's a tab on this side and a slot on that side. That'll tab into place. And as for the last few steps, there is a tab on this side of the hook and there's a slot on this side. And then it's supposed to tab together. Sometimes it requires that accessory to actually keep it that way. So as for the accessory, while you're applying it, just make sure you hold that tight. There is this whole slot section right there, and there's a tab here that will tab right into place just like that. And there we have Battletrap in his truck mode. Let's take a look at the details. Here we have Battletrap in his truck mode. Let's start off by taking a look at the details, starting at the very front. Really nice gunmetal gray for this entire bottom grille section with some nut and bolts. There's actually some kind of dirty effect, brushwork effect there, looking very cool. And some more orange and some silver for the headlights and the GMC logo. So this is a licensed truck, which is pretty cool. We have the entire engine block done in silver and red, with the rest of the hood being done in that orange and this kind of grayish blue color, looking pretty cool. There's 2 stripes that actually go to the top of the truck there, with some silver for this entire floodlight. There's actually an entire light bar done in some really nice translucent orange, and there's some more of that red for the entire windscreen or window section, and it does carry on to the side of the truck. We do have a little mirror done in gray. And there's this really nice detail here. It's actually Bernie's towing and auto body shop. So maybe we'll see a scene in the Rise of the Beast movie where Battletrap scans a vehicle from this shop, and that's how he gets this truck. That'd be pretty cool to see. We do have the tires mostly done in black, looking pretty cool there. And there is a bit of kibble on the back. We have the forearms and the hands kind of sticking out. So it would have been nice if there was a panel to cover them, but it really doesn't bother me that much. And we also do have the entire crane and, mace ball section looking pretty cool back here. And there's a few details in the back. We have some backlights back here and some silver, and overall a pretty cool looking truck. So as for accessory storage, you kind of already saw it. So we have the entire mace just stores back here. There's a tab on this piece and there's slots on the accessory itself, and it just taps into place. If you want to see how I did it, it'll be in the transformation. So overall pretty cool there. And you can actually lower and raise this a tad bit, just back and forth a little bit, which overall is pretty cool. So you can have them kind of slamming the road to block the Autobots from chasing after them, or you could actually slam this on one of the Autobots or Maximals to hurt them, which would be a pretty cool action scene that hopefully they do in the movie. And detail-wise and accessory storage, that is pretty much it. So now for one quick alt mode comparison. Here he is with the Rise of the Beast Studio Series 100 Bumblebee. So his review should be up on the channel very, very soon, and they overall look pretty cool next to each other. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the other Terracons just yet. There is Scourge. I think he's supposed to come out in around June. Hopefully that is pushed a little bit sooner. I'm really looking forward to him. And they do look pretty cool side by side. Hopefully we'll have a really cool battle scene in the movie with them next to each other. Just kind of a side view, front view there. And that is pretty much it for Battletrap's truck modes. Let's now get down to the reverse transformation. Now for reverse transformation, what you're going to want to do is disconnect the accessory from the entire crane section, just like that. And there is two tabs there, of course, and the slots on the accessory itself. Just put that off to the side, just like that. And then what you can do is actually get the entire side of the truck, disconnect that, and fold that back. Do the same thing on the other side, so just disconnect that, fold that back, just like that. You can then split the legs in half. There is a tab on this side and a slot on this side. You can just fully extend these back, just like that. So you can then fold up these panels. There is a slot right there and a tab right there. Just fold that back, bring the foot up, do the same thing on the other side. So just tab that in, fold up the foot, just like that. You can actually go to the back of the legs. There's this panel here, disconnect that. There is a tab there and a slot there. You can just put that to the side of the leg there. Same on the other side, just like that. You can then go to the underside of the truck, disconnect this entire chest section here and bring out to the head and just leave it there for now. And this will actually make it a lot easier to disconnect the entire truck hood. So just lift up this entire section here. It's a pretty tight connection, so just slowly do that. There we go. Extend this, just bring this out as much as you can. Fold up the entire front grille piece, just like that. And then what you're going to want to do is bring the arms out like that, and you can actually rotate at the waist, just again making sure that the waist doesn't untap. Unfortunately, my copy has a tendency to do that, so just do it like that. And then what you can do is actually rotate these entire hood sections or front of the truck sections down. You can then tab the shoulder section into place. There is a slot right there and a tab right there. That's just going to tab into place. You can then fold up this entire spike section right there, just like that. Same for the other arm, so just tab that into place, fold up the entire spike section, and then we can go to the back of the arms. You're going to fold this in. There is a tab there and a slot there. That's just going to fold up, and then you can just rotate this to the back of the arm like that. Same for the other side, so just rotate up that entire hook section, and then rotate this up like that. And there we have the arms all done. Then what you're going to want to do is rotate this entire back truck piece like that. And there is two tabs there, and there is slots here. And then that will just tab into place like that. There we go. Making sure those align up. There we go. And then you can tab this entire head assembly black. So there's two slots there and tabs there. That's just going to tab into place. And then there is a tab right here and a slot underneath the head that will tab into place as well. and then just kind of reposition the arms, get those out of the way. As for the last step, you can disconnect the light bar, just kind of split it in half, rotate these sections up and then in. And then this is kind of up to your personal preference. There's really no set way to position these. You can kind of have them all the way up if you want to, or kind of have them down. I think they have them act as cannons. You can kind of use your imagination if you want to. As for the last step, what you're going to get is accessory. So just open this up. There is a post in here and there is a port in the hand. Either hand does not matter. Just plug that in his hands and then wrap it around, closing that up just like that. So there we have the reverse transformation of Battletrap. So let's now get down to the final thoughts. So now for the final thoughts for the Transformers Studio Series 99 Rise of the Beast Voyager class Battletrap. I think this figure is pretty good. So starting off with my problems, I think with the accessories, they're kind of lacking, especially when you look at the box art. So when I showed the box in the very beginning of this video with his mace, it's actually attached to a chain and it looks like he's swinging around. I think he'll probably do that in the movie and that sounds so cool and I would love for that to be a part of this toy, but unfortunately we really just kind of get this mace. And don't get me wrong, the mace weapon or accessory is actually pretty cool. There's actually chain detailing, so it kind of looks like it's held together by chains and it's just like pieces of metal and there's a ton of spikes. So it's pretty cool, very well detailed. I love the silver, and if you're wondering is it in any way related or similar to the Legacy Bulkhead's mace, no, they're completely different in sculpt. So kind of lackluster compared to the box, so it would have been nice if they were a little bit more accurate. I know that is just box art, but it would have been pretty cool if you could have gotten that in toy form. I do hope maybe down the line before the Rise of the Beast movie or maybe after, we'll get another version of Battletrap with that chain accessory. Another thing is, and I'm pretty sure in the trailer at the very end where there's the entire full battle scene next to a volcano, I'm pretty sure he actually does have a blaster. I think he does fire maybe at like Optimus or Optimus Primal, something like that. So I'm kind of learning why I didn't have a weapon in this. And again, hopefully if they do make another version of this, because I do know there's two separate toy lines a part of Rise of the Beast. There's the Stu Series versions like this one, and they're going to make an own separate Rise of the Beast line. So maybe in that separate line we'll get another version of this character with more accurate weapons to the movie. Who knows? And as for my complaints, that's pretty much it. Overall, really well detailed figure. I love all the spikes and layers of panels. I actually really do like the faux chest piece, and it actually doesn't get into the way. Sometimes in certain situations where they'll do faux pieces, either faux chest pieces or faux cockpit pieces for jets, it can sometimes get in the way. But with this situation, it really doesn't bother me or get in the way at all. I also really do like the entire crane assembly. So it actually does store on the back of the arms or the back of the forearm. And some people have complained about the kibble on the back, but that really doesn't bother me. And if it actually does bother you, you can actually completely unhinder this entire section or unhinge this entire section and actually use it as a weapon if you want him to have a huge long crane piece. I'm not sure if that's accurate to the movie or something, but if you want to, you could. As for the backpack, that is another thing. So unfortunately on my copy, it does have a tendency to not stay tabbed in. So there is tabs on the back and there's slots in the entire back panel right here. And of course, just leaving it there, it's fine. It doesn't bother me. But whenever I usually, mess with the figure, put it in poses, it can be a bit annoying. So it would have been nice if the tabs were a little bit better in that area. As for articulation, overall pretty good. I'd say the only area that is a bit limited is the hand. So there is no wrist rotation. And I think specifically with this figure, it's one of those figures where the hand is not really used a part of transformation at all. It's not folded in. There's no panels that cover the hand or get in the way of the hand or anything like that. So I really think they could have done a wrist rotation because I don't think it would have messed up the transformation or the alt mode whatsoever. So it's a bit unfortunate there, but everything else is pretty good. There is a waist rotation, but there is a but with this. So I did mention this earlier in the review in the video. So unfortunately on my copy, it does have a tendency to just slide off. There's a mushroom peg for the waist, and sometimes whenever I'll use either the waist rotation for, poses, or whenever I'm transforming it and, rotating the waist around, sometimes both legs will just slide off of that mushroom peg. So that could just be a my copy type of thing. What is weird is, just by using articulation, just showing it in the video, it's a very tight swivel, but whenever I swivel it completely around for transformation, it'll just slide out. So it's a bit weird and unfortunate. Hopefully that's just a my copy type of thing. Of course, it's not loose to the point where it just randomly happens, but I don't know. Of course, I could probably do like floor polish or something. I don't really like to modify or put stuff on my toys. If you get this figure and it happens to you, you could probably put floor polish or something like that and it would make it tighter. And other than that, it's a really good looking figure. It would have been nice if there was some light piping in the back of the head, but that's more of a want than a complaint. Other than that, a really well detailed figure. Of course, for transformation, I'd say it's pretty good. It's a little bit complex, I'd say, the first few times. It can be a bit challenging to align the arms, and the cranes perfectly, because sometimes it doesn't want to stay in the right place and position. But other than that, it's a pretty fun transformation. Now for the truck mode, I actually really do like it. It's pretty cool how the entire wrecking ball or mace sticks out at the end of the truck, so you can imagine him, using it to swing at some Autobots or Maximals that are chasing him, or like damaging the road so they can't follow if it's like destroyed, if they're maybe like on a bridge or something. Hopefully that happens in the movie. That would be pretty cool. But I really do like the truck. I do have a problem with the alignment, so it's kind of like what I mentioned earlier with the entire back piece right here, which is actually the top of the truck. So again, with tabs and connections, so you do have the entire top of the truck, and it really doesn't stay tabbed in. It has a little bit of a crevice, and it kind of sits, up a little bit, kind of angles up a little bit. And from certain views, you can barely tell, especially from the side view, you can tell it is misaligned, and it's kind of angled weird. It's kind of angling toward or a little bit forward. So a bit unfortunate there. Again, not a major complaint. Other than that, a really cool looking truck. I've heard people complain about the open exposed hands, which really doesn't bother me, because for most views you can't even see the hands that are there. And that is pretty much it for my final thoughts. I think it's a really good figure. Highly recommend. I actually got this from Hasbro Pulse, not sponsored or anything like that. Just trying to help you out. It's it's for retail price. Don't pay overpriced on eBay or other sites, because it's literally in stock on Hasbro for retail price. And all of the Rise of the Beast figures I got, Bumblebee, Cheetor, Airazor, the Minicons. I actually did get both core class figures, RC and Freezer, all from Hasbro. So definitely go get them. I think they're pretty good figures. And of course, all reviews coming soon. So now that we have the final thoughts out of the way, actually, since this is my 800 subscriber special, I will be shouting out two subscribers of mine, completely random. I literally just go to my subscribers on my channel, just scroll up and down, and just pick one and write it on the paper. So first up, shout out to Seth Life 2. I'll say it again, just in case I mispronounced it or you didn't catch it. Seth's Life 2. And just in case if you, can't finish the video in time and you just want to know if you're shouted out, I will do a community post, a full community post on this video, and have the shout outs completely out there. So if you, can't make it to the end, it'll be out there on the community section of the channel. And the second shout out is Matthew Click. And Matthew Click. So just shout out to those two people, and thank you all so much for all the support. I actually spent a long time on this video, so hopefully you enjoyed this special. I really wanted to make it, super amazing. Of course, actually follow up to this review, there should be a stop motion and a how to transform video with it. So it's a huge, 3-in-1 video special. So hope you like it. Please let me know what you think of this figure in the comment section down below. Again, thank you so much for the 800 subscribers. It means a lot, and I'll see you next time.